Amethyst issue 2.
No, so it's just me then. This is still, it's Amy Reeder doing, writing and art. There's a really nice flashback at the start of this, which sets up a lot of themes for the rest of the issue, and probably a lot of the rest of the book. It's like 3 years ago when she's just gone to Gem World for the first time. She's wearing a Superman t-shirt, and it's these not quite rulers, but the kind of council of Amethyst City, I guess, the Amethyst Realm Kingdom. Kind of just explaining to her what had happened with her parents, that they've died, and that she's got to live up to their legacy, and they're going to help her rule and such, and not being sinister about it. Obviously, we cut over the bit where they give us all the exposition of what had happened because we all know that. But there's this really nice touch of her kind of talking about how she feels like she's she's never been here before. She feels like a foreigner. She even calls herself an alien, and her being in the Superman shirt really works to kind of liken that to how she feels, and what she's kind of relating to back on Earth. But there's a really big bit where the advisors kind of talk about how we're going to teach you how to fight, because, and she's like, well, I don't fight. That's what the bad guys do. It's like, well, good guys fight too. We got to fight to protect those who can't protect themselves, and in the interest of Gem World, and and as you might put it on Earth, we're the good guys, and you kind of go, uh-oh, that can't end well. But we cut ahead to the present day, and Amethyst is still like really confused that people hate her, because there's a nice transition. The last thing that one of the advisors says is, you're a part of House Amethyst, the most respected and honored realm in all of Gem World. And then it cuts to this moment 3 years later, and it's people going, her asking for help for her people, and going, hey, why aren't you going to help do what we're going to do? She's in a different house now, Sapphire now, after being in wherever it was last issue. And they're like, since when are you respected and honored? We don't care about you. Go away. And they send her through a trapdoor. It's her with a friend, Foss, I think it was her name. Yeah, and the big alien centipede worm, Stan. But still a weird thing, but whatever. But they get down to the bottom of this trapdoor, and there's these like dog wolf things that are going to chase them, and they have to run away on Stan. And Stan, it turns out, can run really fast. But they go on a boat is where they run to, and they're going to Aquamarine next. But there's a whole thing here of it's all about her learning that she's got to travel amongst the common people and kind of understand who she was. She's always been fed like these things from royal advisors. Like, this is the situation she doesn't really understand because she flies everywhere. She never interacts with anyone. And her friends like, this is why you don't get it. But last issue, her friend, her roommate, whatever it was, is really into Earth stuff. That's why the centipede's called Stan, because they just like Earth names and stuff. But she shows her the crystal healing book that her parents got and was like, look at this rubbish. And she's like, well, have you tried it? She's like, no, it doesn't work on Earth. And they're like, well, let's give it a try. Maybe it's different here. Maybe they're onto something. And they talk about how Amethyst is supposed to be like aims your third eye, unless you see things. So they make her lie down and try it, and it's like, hey, in your mind's eye, say grant me access to your view of truth, and then you see the amethyst gem on her head kind of swirl, and then she kind of wakes up. She kind of astral projects into the amethyst inside her, the that she's wearing. She's inside that. And she can then kind of look through amethyst elsewhere. So she kind of like sees, her Earth parents have like an amethyst crystal ball kind of on their table because, of course, they do. And she's seeing them at home, and it turns out she's like, oh, she realizes she can direct this to see through amethyst anywhere, and she's using this to try and find all her people who are missing. At this, she's like, well, they must have some amethyst on her. They must do, and she finally sees them. They're all in Lord Opal's chambers prison that we kind of saw before, and they're all imprisoned inside Amethyst. And then the big moment here is when she sees her parents as well. And we knew from the reveal at the end of the last issue that they were still alive, but this is her learning now that they've been alive the entire time, just trapped in Opal's world in Amethyst, and that she could have been doing something to save them. It makes a point of showing the advisors here as well, trapped in Amethyst. But again, there's something in the back of your head, kind of just going, I don't know how trustworthy they are after they made such a big point of saying that her parents are dead, and that they were the good guys. So even though they seem trapped, I'm not sure. But she kind of wakes up after this, and kind of just goes off on one, and she's freaking out, and she seems to faint at the end. But it's unclear whether it's an actual fainting, like she's just fainted, or if there's some side effect of what she just did. I'm sure we'll find out. If it is just fainting, that makes sense because obviously this was quite a huge revelation that she's just taken in, and she's not handling it that well. But I do wonder if there is some side effect going on. But no, it's a really solid read. It goes in really quick. The art is very unique. It's not like anything else that DC's putting out right now. Pretty nice. Color palette again. It seems to be working really well in the. It's obviously she's all in purple because that's Amethyst, but when we're in Sapphire near the start, there's lots of blues, and I don't just mean even in the blue gems. I mean the lights are blue, and the way they design their world is around that deep blue of the Sapphire, and even like their tunnels have that. And then when we get to Aquamarine, at the end we're going towards there on the boat. It's all these light blues instead, and it's really nice the way that this color palette's worked. I don't know if Amy Reed does the colors as well. Yeah, it looks like she does. So that's really solid. I give it a solid 7, I'd say.